Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host, Charles Glidden.
Coming up next, we get our update on what's happening at the Family Resource Center. And later, it's open line when you can pick up the phone, give us a call, express yourself. Talk Today's next. Stay with me.
Talk Today is brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good
Did you know that?
Yes. Hello, who's that? Good afternoon. I'm Charles Glidden, and welcome to Talk Today. Good to have you tuning in. It's a nice afternoon here in Georgetown. I hope it's a nice afternoon where you are. I think just about everywhere in the Cayman Islands is having a nice afternoon. And, we're about to wrap up February and open March. So I hope you got your e-bike all legal, right? So you can ride on the roads as of the 1st of March, and you go zipping along. It's amazing how quickly the year is zipping by, though. I can't believe we're looking at March already, and it is the last Thursday of the month, and if you're a regular minister, if it's the last day of the month, we're going to hear from the folks at the Family Resource Center. The FRC is always offering great programs that families and people in general can get involved in and live better. Today, we're talking about parenting teens, which, as I can testify, that can be a tough job at times. Joining me in the studio right now to discuss parenting teens and how the FRC is helping is Miles Ruby of the Family Resource Center. Miles, nice to have you back in the studio.
It's good to be back. Thank you for having me.
So, what are you up to now with this program about parenting teens?
Yes, we just started our parenting teens program this Monday. It's through our Triple P program, which is a positive parenting program that's internationally accredited. And so what we're doing is when I meet with the parents, their teenagers are going into a separate session with Teen Talk, which is from the Alex Panton Foundation. And Ms. Renee is running that cohort with the teens while I'm working with the parents. And the Triple P program is basically teaching parents, what influences teens' behavior, everything from genetics to the family environment to, outside world, peers, social media, all those things. And then we look at, the 5 pillars of positive parenting. And that's so important because we talk about what comes easy, what comes hard, and one of the hardest ones is self-care. you know, and so many of us parents tend to put ourselves last, take care of everyone else, and we're burning the candle at both ends, but we can't pour from an empty cup. And so if we're stressed, if we're overtired, we aren't as patient and available to our kids, and especially our teens.
Speaking of being tired, I mean, people are working so hard these days.
They are, and
when you get home, you just want to flop out.
You do, but then you start your second shift, which is parenting.
Yeah.
And like you, I'm a graduate of being a parent of teenagers, 3 to be exact. I survived and they survived. But it is a challenge, you know, especially for those parents who this is their first time, their first go around, or if it's just their first and only child. You know, it's new territory. It's like uncharted waters. Like, what happened to my child? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I remember talking about that, you know, when they were young, everything was so nice, and you know, Daddy was a great person, and
they liked
could
me.
do no wrong.
Exactly.
And then you can't do anything right, according to them.
Until after college. It usually happens after college. But
what happens there?
I think it's just maturity. You know, they get away from the home. They get to see other people, see other people's values and how they behave, and they just learn, oh, it wasn't so bad. Or, you know, they think, wow, my parents learned a lot in those 4 years when I was away in college. But it's actually the child who's grown up and matured, and their brains are under construction. A lot of people don't know this, but the teenage brain is really, like I said, it's under construction. And the parts of the brain that are on fire are those parts that are taking risks, that are seeking peer approval, that sensation seeking, all those things that they need to do to leave the nuclear family so that they can find, quote, their own tribe. And the brain is designed that way so that they will leave the home and find their own people, so to speak. And but the part of the brain that prioritizes, plans, sets goals, has self-restraint, thinks of consequences is underdeveloped. And that's the prefrontal cortex, which is in the very front. So their brain really is acting against themselves. So they're very intelligent, but they don't have the executive functions to make those good decisions, to think ahead and think of consequences, because their brain doesn't finish developing till their mid to late 20s. And so...
And just breaking into that, that's where alcohol and drugs come in with, as far as being used by teenagers, right? I mean, the brain is not finished.
It's not finished, and it does so much damage to their developing brain and to their systems that are still developing. You know, there's more and more research out of the dangers, not just alcohol, but, you know, cannabis, and how it impairs memory, it impairs their ability to be, you know, goal-oriented. You know, they become apathetic, and again, it's just not good for a developing brain. You know, I know there's a lot of controversy around that. You know, whether it's medicine or how it's used and whatnot, and if it's going to be decriminalized. But regardless, a child, whoever has a developing brain, should not be putting those substances in their body because it's doing damage and it's irreparable.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there are other pathways that can be made, and there are protective factors. But when it comes to substances like that, it's so important that we protect our children and teach them the dangers of what it's doing to their body, to their brain, because you only have one brain and you want to take care of it. And so, especially as parents, you know, we want to be role models too, but our brains are finished. You know, we're after you're 30 or so, you know, you're good.
Yeah.
You know, you can still learn new things and create new pathways. It's not as hardwired as we used to think from all the neuroscience and imaging, but
the brain is fully developed.
Yeah. So, yeah, once they have the fully developed brain, then, you know, it's not as dangerous. You know, there's still, of course, negative side effects to
So
anything.
even without the interference of drugs or alcohol, there's this imbalance in the teenage
Yes.
brain.
Yeah, that's why they're so emotional. Those the center where dopamine is just it's heightened. That's why it seems like teenagers are very sensitive, and they're trying to find their own identity. Who are they in this world? Where do they fit in? It's a very confusing time for teenagers.
And sometimes when they give you something that they think is logical, you're like, how is that logical?
Yeah. I think with teenagers too, there's an internal struggle because they're still dependent on their parents, but they're craving independence.
Yeah.
So it's this internal tug of war. And so it can create some resentment, and they're trying to figure out who they are. Like, do I have the same values as my parents or my family? What do I like? Just because my parents like it, do I like it? So there's a lot of questioning, a lot of experimenting, with hair, makeup, clothes, all those things. And they just want to be their own person, separate from the parent. And that's normal. I mean, developmentally, that's what they're supposed to be doing, so that they will leave the home and venture out on their own.
So what are some of the other things on that list of things that you go through with parents?
Okay, so one thing we also talk about is how do we connect with our teens? So often, once they get older and preteen and teenager, they kind of withdraw, and it feels like they don't need us as much, but they actually need us more than ever. It just looks a little different. And so instead of kind of solving problems for them, we kind of support them and say, hey, do you want comfort or do you want solutions? Try to help them become critical thinkers and good problem solvers, because that will build that self-efficacy and that agency that, hey, even when life is tough, I have the skills. It's resilience, being able to bounce back and being able to say, hey, even though I didn't, succeed in this, I tried, So teaching parents, how to connect with them, having the teen lead the activities, connection is so important. And they talked a lot about that during the Alex Panton Symposium this past weekend, and how important that is. Like, the parent is the single biggest influence in a teen's life. They are the agent of change. So if we don't like how our teenager's behaving, we need to look at what we can control, which is our response to our teenager, right? So we also look at, how do you encourage those positive behaviors, like maybe behaviors you don't see as often as you like? How do you encourage that first? So you have to build that relationship with your teen, because a lot of time that's broken down, through the power struggles. And so learning how to just give positive attention to positive behavior, and then learn how to manage misbehavior. And then we look at, how to deal with risky behavior, and there's routines and there's strategies. And so the parents feel more confident in what they're going to do and to plan ahead for, potential risky times. If, for instance, during, school breaks, on the weekends, between school and when they get home, those times are when teenagers can be very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We have to take a little break here,
okay,
but we'll be right back, so stay with us.
Did you know that 1 in 4 persons in Cayman has been diagnosed with raised blood pressure, or that 14% of our population do not eat any fruits or vegetables, or that 70% of Cayman's adult population is overweight or obese? The STEPS 2023 National Health Survey gives us information on the prevalence of risk factors for non-communicable diseases, such as heart and lung disease in the Cayman Islands. Your health matters. Let's step into Wellness Cayman. Learn more by logging on to gov.ky/steps.
Find out about all the community happenings, from nonprofit, community fundraisers, church events, and more with Radio Cayman's Community Bulletin Board 3 times daily. Don't be the one to miss out on the latest information for events taking place every day on all 3 islands. Radio Cayman's Bulletin Board, brought to you by UCCI. Visit www.ucci.edu.ky. Choose your dream and blaze your trail today. And the Lions Club of Grand Cayman, serving the community for over 5 decades. The community calendar, also brought to you by Baptist Health International, healthcare that cares. Radio Cayman's Community Bulletin Board. Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy, now with a second location in Governor's Square. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health.
Your mornings just got a whole lot buzzier. Join me, Kathy Miller, every Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. on The Buzz, Radio Cayman's morning talk show with insight, impact, and inspiration, covering business, policy, finance, health, culture, and the biggest local and global issues impacting our Cayman community. With fresh perspectives from younger generations to stories of inspiration from local entrepreneurs. Tune in and turn up Tuesday and Thursday mornings, 7:30 to 9:30 with me, Kathy Miller, on The Buzz. The Buzz.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. And in the studio with me is Miles Ruby of the Family Resource Center, and we're talking about parenting teens. I guess rebellion is just a normal part of the teenage development.
Yeah, it's one of the stages, that they have to go through to reach adulthood. Because, when they're little, we think about, we're raising our children. But once they become teenagers, we're actually building adults. It's different. Our approach needs to be more like a coach or a consultant, as well with younger kids, but particularly teenagers. We need to give them opportunities to succeed and fail. So often we don't want our children to suffer or go through the same mistakes we did, so we try to protect them from it. But we can't protect our kids from the world. We need to prepare them for it and give them the tools to have that growth mindset, to be able to bounce back, even when the world's chaotic and when they do fail. I tell my parents that FAIL is an acronym for first attempt in learning. So if we look at when things go bad, if it's just a stumbling block, it's just an obstacle that we can overcome. It's an opportunity to learn from it. That it's not permanent. Then they'll be more likely to explore and grow. And that's what we want for our kids. We want them to be critical thinkers. We want them to be compassionate, to, have empathy, to be resilient. And so, instead of swooping in and saving them, we want to, give them an opportunity to solve their own problems. So if they come in the door, so often they come in the door, slam the door, throw down their book bag, and then they disappear into their room. Instead of seeing that as disrespect, if we can reframe that emotionally and go, maybe they're having a bad day, and we all have bad days, right? But they're just not dealing with it very effectively, right? So how can we...
The child in them still comes out often.
Absolutely, yeah. And self-regulation is a skill, as resilience. It's not innate. It's something that we have to teach our children and give them opportunities to learn how to use, because it's just like a tool. If you don't use it, it's going to be dull, right? You have to sharpen it. And these skills like empathy, resilience, all those kind of values that you want your child to have, we have to guide our children, and show them, but let them also stumble and fall and learn from it when the price tag's smaller and they have our support.
Do some parents make the mistake of coming down too hard?
Oh, sure.
Because I've heard people say, well, the harder you come down on them, the more they're going to resist.
Well, when you think about it, we talk about, different parenting styles, and, we tend to parent the way we were parented unless we intentionally decide to do something different, because that's the world we know. like, well, that's how I was raised, so that's what I'm going to do with my kids, unless I don't want to do something or I want to do something different. But children, what we know, and from the research, is that parents who provide structure with choices are more effective than parents who have lots of structure but no choices, or no structure and lots of choices. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. Children need to, and especially teens, need to learn to accept limits and how to behave appropriately within those limits. I mean, that's life.
Yeah.
Even adults have to do that.
Exactly. That's why you're going to grow in.
Yeah, we get in a car. Yeah. We have speed limits. We have rules of the road, right? So even though I'm thinking 25 is so slow, that's just silly, If I don't, follow the rules, I can get a speeding ticket. I could get in an accident. I could lose my license. There are negative consequences in not following the rules, but there's also positive consequences when I do, right? My insurance rates can go down. I don't get in accidents. I don't get speeding tickets. I don't have to pay big fines, right? And so just like in home, rules will only have meaning if there are consequences. And as parents, we teach you have to be consistent, immediate, and decisive. And, in the Triple P program, we talk about that quite a bit.
So it's still important to let that teenager know that you're the boss.
Absolutely. You still, set limits. And as they get older, those limits open up. When they're younger, you give them their structure, right? Like, do you want milk or water? I want juice. Do you want milk or water? I want juice. Do you want milk or water? You decide or I decide. So, you give them two choices that they like. Now, as teenagers, you can say, hey, you can have anything in the fridge you like except this. And then they can choose, because so that the limits open up and there's more options in that range. But it's age appropriate, right? Like homework. With the younger child, you say, do you want to do homework on the kitchen table, or at the dining room table? If you're still setting the limit, I expect you to do the homework, but you get to choose where you do it. So you're still setting the boundaries. Now, as a teenager, you might say, hey, I don't care where you do your homework as long as it gets done. And you gradually give them more options and open up those limitations so that they learn how to handle freedom. Because if they've never had practice handling that, managing themselves, their own schedule, learning that self-discipline, when they go up to university, they could, if they fail, it wouldn't be a real surprise because they haven't had practice.
Yeah. They instill that discipline of sitting down with the books.
Right. Yeah. Like I learned in high school, if I wanted to go to my ballet class, I had to finish my homework first, and I had to get certain grades in order to have the privilege of accessing something that I loved. That was a privilege. It wasn't a right. And so my parents set that limitation. Hey, we're going to pay money for this. It's not cheap. And, this is our expectation of you. You need to keep your grades up, A's and B's, and homework has to be done, before you go, or if you have to study afterwards, you can. But, it did teach me a lot of self-discipline too. So that when I did go away to university, I had that self-discipline. I was always like, let me do my work first so then I can have fun playing. I didn't like things hanging over my head. So it taught me that.
It must be kind of puzzling to a parent when you have two children, close in age, and one, model kid, right? Good grades, they get things done around the house, keep their room neat.
Yep.
And the other one is at the other end of the spectrum.
Yes. It is confusing.
Always in trouble, getting home late, sneaking out.
Yep. And, I have 3 grown daughters, and they're all different, and they all had their own strengths and their own challenges. And, just when you think you figured it out, you're like, the other one comes around and they do something different. And like, well, I have to be flexible. Because every child, they're not born like a blank slate. They have their own blueprint. They get temperaments from mom, dad, grandparents, aunts, and uncles. So they're their own person. We can help mold and shape and guide. But, they have their own personality. They have their own likes and dislikes. what they value. They might value freedom, but you might have the temperament where you value, structure. And so you might clash because, for someone who values freedom, too much structure is a trigger. Like, don't box me in. But someone that really values structure, too much freedom it can be, create anxiety. And so it's important to know, your temperament, your children's temperaments, and what they value, how they connect to the world, and also what their strengths and challenges are, because we all have them. And so we want to focus on the strengths to help them propel forward while they're working on their challenges. But if we only work on the challenges and not build those strengths, they'll never move forward. It's kind of like a sailboat, right? If the sails are your strengths, on the sailboat, and the boat itself is everything else. If you have a leak or something, you still have to deal with it, right? But if all you do is work on the leak, which is the problem or the challenges, and you never hoist your sails, you'll never leave.
You don't pay attention to the wind direction,
or you never leave the dock, or you're not paying attention to yourself, so you might drift, off course. You might capsize, So it's a balance, really, of learning how to use those strengths to help work on those challenges.
So in this program, you're working with parents, and someone else is working with teenagers.
Yes, it's
what's going on the teenager side? I know
it's more of a they're facilitating a group with teens, and they're just giving them a space where it's safe to talk, and it's facilitated, so it's led by a skilled facilitator. And there's group rules, and so there's expectations on what's behavior, what we expect about being respectful, giving everyone a voice, using kind words, those kind of things. But it really gives them an opportunity to vent, in a safe space, but have it guided so it doesn't go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But also come up with maybe some strategies on how to manage it. But it's really a place where they feel supported, where they feel heard. Teenagers want a voice. They want to feel like they matter.
So they can kind of complain about the parent too, like
well they can, because I know we had our first session this week, and what I was told was like they had a list of things they wanted to talk about and discuss, and it's it's sometimes easier to talk to a stranger than a parent, right? And someone who's a little younger, that is skilled in how to lead those conversations effectively and safely. And so we had two of the teenagers, when they left, they didn't know each other, went to different schools. I think there were 2 years difference in age, and they hugged each other. They'd made a new friend. So and they couldn't wait to come back. Now, dragging them there was a challenge. Like, they did not want to be there, but then they were like, oh, I can't wait to come back.
So they found common ground
yes
in the way that they were interacting with their parents.
And it's same with the parents. They realize, oh, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one struggling. It's not just me. So a lot of what they're feeling is validated. They get the support from the other parents. They can even help the other parents. Like, well, I have a 17-year-old. I remember what it was like having a 14 and 15-year-old. They will mature, or, try this or try that. And so they help each other. I'm facilitating the group. And so we say, hey, these are the tools or philosophies, pick which ones you want to use. Because the more tools you have in your parenting tool belt, the more effective you'll be. Because I've said it so many times, if all you have in your parenting tool belt is a hammer, you're going to address every problem like a nail, right? But you might need other tools. You might need, and nothing works all the time. So you need options. But consistency is so important, and being decisive and immediate too, so that they don't get away with things, and that they understand what those expectations are, and they don't get confused or anxious.
You still have to live within certain bounds.
Absolutely, and that's even that's the real world, right?
We have to take a break, but we'll be right back.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
CUC believes in powering dreams. Applications are open for its 2026 scholarship and vocational internship program, with financial support for associate's, bachelor's, and master's degrees, and paid internships for students 15 and older. CUC is investing in Cayman's next generation of leaders. Don't miss your chance to grow, learn, and give back to your community. Apply today at cuc-cayman.com. Deadline to apply is March 27th.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and I'm continuing with my conversation with Miles Ruby of the Family Resource Center, and we're talking about raising teens and a program that is at the Family Resource Center. What is the program name?
It's called Teen Triple P. Triple P stands for Positive Parenting Program. And like I said, we started the group this week, and it is 5 sessions, and they're 2-hour sessions. And then we go into kind of like a follow-up. How are you doing with these new strategies? And then they can move into individual parent coaching. It's also offered individually because some people can't do evenings.
Yeah.
And so it's also offered. You can come into the Family Resource Center, and we can meet, once a week for an hour or every 2 weeks. And sometimes I'll do it over Zoom as well because of, logistics and traffic. Sometimes it's just not possible to come into the office. So that's another platform.
That's great. You could actually set up individual sessions.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, can people still get in on the group?
They can. They would need to call us and do the intake process if they're not a client already with the Department of Counseling Services, because it is free. All our services are free. So any of our Triple P programs are free. You don't need to file it with insurance. It's all covered by our government. Thank you. And so it's a wonderful benefit because it's in other jurisdictions when they charge for it, it's quite expensive because just getting trained and accredited in it was not cheap either. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone commits to this, give us a little feeling of what it's like to attend one of these sessions.
Okay. It's basically you're going to come in and we're going to provide like a light dinner, childcare if you need it for the younger ones. We have some parents that have multiple children and they need childcare. So we're trying to remove those barriers, make it easy for you to come. Hey, it's a night you don't have to cook. You just, we start at 5:30, we're finished at 7:30, and it's for 5 sessions. Now, and if we do it individually, that is going to take longer because it's set up a little differently for individual sessions. It's basically 10 individual sessions. And we go, I will go at the pace of the client, at their pace. So we might need to spend more time in one section than another, So what they also get is a lot of support, and validation from the other parents. They don't feel so alone. They realize, hey, it's not just me. And they really look forward to having that camaraderie and feeling like someone else gets it, and it's not just me. Because so often they feel so alone in their struggle because they look at everyone else, and on the outside it might look perfect, but you go inside those closed doors and it's anything but, And we all have challenges. I mean, that's part of growing and that's life and parenting, There's no manual that we get when they're born, right? But you do get a workbook, you get a manual. And it's very helpful. There's so many great tools And again, it's really up to the family, what they're comfortable trying, and, based on what we teach, what I teach, and they do some monitoring of the behavior to see if it's gotten any better before implementing the strategies and after, so they can see if it's working.
So, I mean, is it necessarily geared toward parents that are having trouble with their teens, or is it more or less a general kind of?
Some parents have attended the group, because they have a preteen and they want to have the information before.
Okay.
So
they're preparing.
They're preparing, and that's because we also have standard triple P, which is for school age children, and there's some different tools, and we talk about development too. But then when you go into teens, it's different. Parenting teens is very different than parenting a school age child, because they're going through different things developmentally. And like I said, we're not raising kids, we're building adults, and so it feels and looks a little different. And I can speak from experience. Sometimes you have to give away control to gain control by giving them freedoms and give them an opportunity to prove themselves and to gain that trust and to show me. Like, a lot of teens will negotiate. They don't want to, take no for an answer. Why do I have to come home at this time? That's not fair. All my friends are staying out late. And so some things can be non-negotiable, especially if it's around safety. But if there is some wiggle room, you want to show some flexibility. And like, one thing you can do is set a limit. Say, hey, I've got 5 minutes. If in those 5 minutes you can convince me and show and logically, rationally show me why you should come home at this time versus that time, I'll consider it. But after that 5 minutes, if you haven't convinced me, the answer's the same. So you're still setting the limit, but you're giving them an opportunity to express themselves, to have a voice, to try to make their case and have an argument, because we want those kids to have those skills when they go in the real world, when they go to a job, or when
don't want to kill their spirit. Right?
Exactly. We might want to brat a little bit, but we don't want to squash it.
Right. Yeah. You said parents often use how they were parented as the model. Mm-hmm. And today you got a lot of different people telling you, well, do it this way and do it that way. It's so all over YouTube.
Yeah, TikTok, YouTube. I say really, like triple P is a golden standard intervention. It is research-based. There is mass research all over the world. I mean, in all different countries. So regardless of your culture, your what country you live in, it's founded in Australia, but it's in India, it's in Amsterdam, it's in Europe, it's in Canada, the States. We brought it here because it's recognized by professionals as the golden standard. These are tried and true strategies that have been researched and that are effective, and so it takes the guesswork out of it. And because there's so much out there, and a lot of times they're just trying to get more likes, they're trying to sell something. And a lot of books are around discipline. And one thing we teach is that it's, about 99% are about discipline. But what you really have to do is connect with your child first. You connect, then you can redirect. And it's because, if you don't understand what your child's going through and empathize and validate their feeling, then you're not going to be able to help problem solve or set limits. And so often as parents, we go right to fixing, solution. Okay, what can I do? What do you, instead of saying, oh, that must have been hard. I would have been disappointed too if my friend did that or said that. So we teach that, all emotions and wishes are okay, but not all behaviors are okay. It can be as simple as, hey, I get it. You're upset that your friend told this, lie about you, but it's not okay to turn around and tell a lie about them.
Right.
Right. So it's okay to be upset with your friend for lying, but it's not okay to lie and, and do the same thing that she did to, or he did to you. So, teaching them that, they are in control of themselves. They're not in control of anyone else. Just like as parents, we don't have control of our children. I know we made them, but they are their own person. The only thing we can control is our response to them, and that's where the magic is. And if you look at especially teenagers when they're emotional, as an opportunity to connect with them, to, what can they learn from this? You're going to be less reactive, especially when you reframe behavior, like when a teenager asks, well, why? And you think, oh, that's disrespectful.
Oh, yeah, that's
yeah.
That's the big question.
Don't you question me, and instead maybe if we reframe and go, wow, they're really curious and analytical. Those are good skills to have.
Yeah.
So when you reframe that kind of negative behavior into something, into a strength, you're going to be less reactive. You're not letting them off the hook, but you're going to be more likely to guide them and not get into a power struggle.
But it speaks volumes, though, about the validity of this program. Was it Triple P? That so many different cultures have adopted this.
And you look at Cayman, how many cultures we have here from all over the world. And, it's just fascinating because, even in my individual coaching and my groups, we have Caymanians, we have, people from Canada, from the U.S., from India, from the Philippines, from all over. And they have such different parenting, philosophies or different values or different, cultures. And it works, regardless. And, some people might take one thing over another because, of their family value. But at least they have choices. They have options. We all need, if we only have one option, we don't have a lot of hope, because if that doesn't work, what are you going to do?
Down the drain.
Yeah, exactly. So it's better to have options and just to keep an open mind and try some of these strategies. It's harder sometimes for us as parents to change because we're creatures of habit. And so that's one thing I say, hey, just keep an open mind, give it a whirl, because especially when you do that emotional reframing, when you look at a child differently, you see a different child. So instead of seeing a willful, disobedient, defiant child who's always asking why, you see a curious, analytical child. And you're like, wow, how can I build that? How can I grow that and encourage that, but still teach them the limitations, the boundaries of being respectful.
So how do people make contact if they want to learn more?
Sure,
or join
they
the
can
program?
give us a call at 949-0006. They can email us at frc@gov.ky. Like I said, all our services are free. You just have to become a client. Just like when you go to the doctor's office, you have to fill out some paperwork, consent for services and release of information, just some demographics. And then, we can make sure it's a good fit for you because, you might need something else. A lot of times people come in thinking they need one thing, but then after we sit down and talk with them, they actually need this. And so we let our clients kind of guide us as far as what's recommended. And, through the assessments too, we do pre and post assessments. So it shows, that things have gotten better, with their depression or anxiety or stress or even in their own relationship. Because when there's difficulty raising teens in the relationship, that can cause problems in the marriage. And so we also look at that and we see that improve.
Miles Ruby of the Family Resource Center, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Have a good afternoon.
You too.
It's 1:00. Let's check in with the newsroom.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
I'm April Cummings with your headlines. Applications are open now for the 2026 DART Hospitality Educators Program, an immersive one-week experience free to Cayman educators, coaches, and career mentors interested in hospitality. DART says eligibility has been expanded to include all educators working with Year 11 and up, as well as career counselors. The deadline to apply is April 19th. You can find the details and application at dart.ky/hospitality. In international headlines, the average long-term U.S. mortgage rate slipped this week below 6% for the first time since late 2022. The benchmark 30-year fixed-rate mortgage fell to 5.98% from 6.01% last week. That's according to mortgage buyer Freddie Mac. 1 year ago, the rate averaged 6.76%. Walmart has agreed to pay $100 million to settle allegations from the U.S. Federal Trade Commission that the retailer caused delivery drivers to use tens of millions of dollars worth of earnings by deceiving them about the base pay, incentive pay, and tips they could make in a statement released by the Commission today. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter. Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
At HSA, we strive to provide the highest standard of care with compassion, integrity, and dedication. And so we say thank you, Cayman, for continuing to make us the most awarded organization on island by voting us the best of Cayman Islands in 9 medical categories. Your support reminds us why we do what we do, to serve the Cayman community with kindness and excellence. To find out more about our award-winning services, visit hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Captain Charles Gerald Kirkconnell, 1891 to 1961. Charles Gerald Kirkconnell was born and raised on Cayman Brac. He was married to Olivine Elizabeth Eden of Grand Cayman, and the couple had 3 children. Captain Charlie was one of the founding brothers of the shipping and merchandising firm of R.B. Kirkconnell and Brothers Limited. Many Caymanian seamen were trained on Kirk vessels and later worked for national bulk carriers. Captain Charlie was also a shipbuilder who built the largest ship ever to be built in the Cayman Islands, the M.V. Kirksons. He and the late Bertie Foster were instrumental in helping to build the airport on Cayman Brac, which they both helped to finance. The clearing of the airstrip was done entirely by hand. Captain Charlie financed most of the houses that were built by seamen employed by NBC, as there was no bank on the Brac. He served as a vestryman for the Sister Islands in the Assembly of Justices and Vestry. Captain Charles Gerald Kirkconnell.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
My earliest recollection when I was in high school is looking forward to Saturday mornings. Radio Cayman had my favorite show, the Top 15 Countdown. It was then hosted by Lomax Rankin and sponsored by Funky Tanks. A couple years later, I got a job there. I was able to host that same show all by myself. It will be a countdown of the 15 best-selling records on the island, one by one, till we get to the top. Those were the good old vinyl days. This is Alfred T.A. Radio Cayman. Want to wish you a happy 50th anniversary and keep on jamming till infinity and beyond.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. Let's take our look at the weather and the current information. 83 degrees here in Georgetown. It feels like 90, and the wind is out of the southeast at 11 knots. And the forecast is calling for partly cloudy skies for the rest of the afternoon and through the night. Winds are expected to be out of the east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, and seas running 3 to 5 feet. They are termed to be moderate to rough. And taking a look at the radar, yes, looking good. Got a few little blips of rain out at sea there. And over at Sister Islands, they're looking good and clear also, with just a few spots of showers out at sea. And hey, the phone lines are open. If you want to chat, want to express yourself, well, now's the time to do it. Numbers to call, 1-800-534-8255, and that is courtesy of Flo. Also, you can call on 949-8037, 949-6990, and if WhatsApp is your thing, 925-3261. You can drop us a note or give us a call. And a little community announcement here. Nominations for the prestigious Proud of Them Youth Recognition Awards opens on Sunday. And, this is the program where they put pictures of young people on billboards along the roads, saying we are proud of them and recognizing their accomplishments. And this is something that it's really nice to see our young people being, recognized. And it's open for Caymanian youth aged 10 to 25. That's the age group that is eligible for nominations. And if you believe that you've been doing a great job, doing great things in the community, you've served your community, made good grades in school, you've made a significant accomplishment in the categories that are up for nominations, you can nominate yourself. How do you like that? And that's great. I think that's a good idea that they've included self-nominations, because there are a lot of instances when the instances where in these awards where there's nominations and a deserving person is left out because somebody just didn't get around to nominating them. It happens. And you can nominate a young Caymanian aged 10 to 25 years old. And here's the categories that the nominations can be made in: academics, sports, community service, business, career, and culture. So quite a range there of the categories that you can nominate some young people who've been doing good in the community. And this is great because lots of times, young people get a bad rap. We hear a lot of, older people saying, oh, these young people, what's going on with these young people? But there's a lot of young people out there that they're doing good things and bound to be doing good things in the future, and it's good to encourage them. The deadline for submissions is Saturday, the 21st of March at 11:59 p.m. 1 minute to 12, 1 minute to midnight. And you can do that online. So to submit the nomination, or you want to learn more about this, you should go to the website, www.youthservices, all one word, youthservices.ky/proud of them. And you can learn more about the program. You can make a nomination. Person 10 to 25 that should be recognized for their good works, drop their name in, give them some recognition there. Well, we've talked about public transport in the Cayman Islands, or in many instances we've talked about the lack of good public transportation service. Just recently when I went to Pedro, I noticed a bus stop in the middle of the median there between Countryside and the gas station there along Shamrock. It looked like a very interesting layout there, and come to learn that that is part of the effort to improve our public bus service. It's called a bus hub, and the plan is to make it a connection point for passengers commuting from the eastern districts, and that they can transfer there. They can transfer to a bus going into town, and then those buses turn around and go back east, and give quicker service to the eastern districts. Minister J.E. Banks is even talking about having buses going into neighborhoods like Newlands and actually dropping people where they live, or I guess close to where they live. Excuse me. The minister also spoke about having GPSs in all the buses so that they can be tracked in real time by passengers on a phone app. And, you'll know how far your bus is and, how much longer you have to wait. But, he's saying that the goal is to have a person not have to wait any more than 15 minutes, which is that's reasonable. If you get to the bus stop, hey, within 15 minutes, a bus will be coming along. But the app thing is great too, because then you can go online, open the app, and see where the bus is, see whether you have time to run across to the gas station to get a soda or something. But I think that'll take a little time to all be put in place. So, good things to come for our transportation service. Great to see that, the ministry and the government is not, just sitting, letting things continue as they are, and are actually putting a plan in place to improve bus service in the Cayman Islands, because a lot of people, depend on that service, and maybe even more people would take the bus if it was more reliable, a more convenient thing to do. And Parliament goes into session next week. Was it the 4th? Yeah. And changes are being made to the recently passed Immigration Transition Amendment and Validation Bill 2026. There's been some criticism of the fact that at the start of things here, people were under the impression that the original draft of this bill said that people who had gotten their paperwork, all their applications, papers in as far as permanent residency, would not be subject to having to wait for was 20 years before you can apply for Cayman status, up from the present 15. And then in the final version, that was not the case. So this meeting of Parliament, they will be amending that recently passed bill. And if people already have had their paperwork in, then they will be considered to have met that deadline and will be able to apply for status within 15 years. They would be eligible to apply for status, which is only fair, really. I mean, it seems like natural justice there. You got your paperwork in, the law changes. You know, why wouldn't you be included? And they're also putting in legislation for an express work permit lane, giving authority to actually charge fees for a faster handling of applications. And also, another amendment that will be made to this to the law is a new category of Caymanian. Caymanian as of right, it will be called. Caymanian as a right. And, previously people were recognized as this recognizing individuals born on before the 26th of March, 1977. And apparently, what is it here? There were like 2,618 people born in the Cayman Islands between the 1st of January 1969 and the 26th of March 1977, who there's no specific statute that says that they are Caymanian by right, so they're going to fix that. And, I've seen criticism saying, well, yeah, they rushed it through, they didn't think it through, they started out doing this, they changed it up, and now they got to go back and do it. Well, at least the government, accepts where there may have been a mistake, and now we're going to correct it. Some governments might just hold fast and say, well, we did what we did, and this is why, and, that's it. But they have seen where they should go back and change it to the original intent. And you got to give them points for that. We have a couple of callers waiting there, so let's go to the phone lines. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today. Hello, you're on the air.
Yeah, Charlo. How are you doing?
All right, and how are you?
Man, I had a little tour this morning up in West Bay, man.
Oh, you went to the homeland?
Yeah, I went around the school, town hall,
Yeah.
Talking about that garbage, Charlo, yesterday and people littering and things like that. I noticed that on the field down there this morning. And don't talk about garbage cans. You got garbage cans all over the place, Shadow, but when you're used to something, Shadow, you're used to something, man, and it's all about the home, my friend. If it's not taught in the home,
yeah,
it could be hard for you to help yourself from doing that when you go out in the public.
It just becomes habit, right?
Yeah, really can't help themselves, man. They anything they use, like a plastic bottle thing, they get up and left it right there, and the garbage can right alongside them.
What gets me is when they throw it by the garbage can. It's like where you're like practicing your basketball shot or something, and you just happen to miss, or what? Could have put it in the garbage can instead on the ground, but next to it.
Yeah, man, I was just stand on the roadside, and just look at the field and think how nice it looked today compared to when I was going to school and what I had to run on, what I had to play on, I would say, God bless them youth, man. They're fortunate. They don't know what it is to really play on a bad ground and things like that. Because that artificial field that they have there now, I guess I'll have to give credit to Barnum Bush for that, because it happened when he was Minister of Sports. That was laid there. But it's really nice, man. And then you have the track around it, It's really nice. Sometimes I go down there to do a little exercise down there. And as I look across on the primary school, a place back in the 90s, I was on that school with McAlpine, working 14 hours a day. 9 hours, we're doing the concrete work and we pouring and laying blocks and all those things. And when we put on the roof, I did the insulation in the roof at night. Some rough work, but I had to get the money. I couldn't allow anybody else to come in and do that. So
why were you doing it at night?
The insulation in the roof.
Yeah, because it was too hot.
Yeah, man. Some rough work. Because up in there was so hot, and then that's scratching and things like that. But you want the money, so you got to work hard for it, man.
You got to work for the money.
Yeah, man. But it was good to look back and to say, well, I'm a part of that also. And I feel proud of that, man.
Well, you should,
I was able to go back there one day and do that,
You helped build it.
Yeah. I would feel more proud of it if I had Iris and Hope Bud Primary School, the name up there. Yeah, it would make me feel much more proud. You understand? So I seen this. I think it's a banner hanging on the fence. Proud of them.
Yeah, I was just talking about that program. Yeah.
Yeah, primary school children, and Chalo, I was seeing like E-Bank's name on that. I had to wonder, you put 100,000 people on this island, all E-Banks and everything, you wouldn't hear about them no more. Yeah, man, this is all foreign children look like. But
well, Robert, these days you never really know, because maybe
like I said,
maybe at E-Banks married somebody with the foreign name, right?
But you never know. But it's okay.
You can't just go by that.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying.
Yeah, but I'm not going to shed no tears about anything like that, so it's okay. But I want to say, Charlie, today I had to check across my favorite, not really a restaurant person, but it was a time in West Bay that I just supported Liberty Restaurant.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Charlie, I bought some food there this morning, man. I had to go check them again because it's been a while. Checking for the turtle meat, but that shift now until Sunday. You can get the turtle meat at Liberty's.
All right, little plug for Liberty's.
Yeah, but let me tell you, Chado, the food, the taste of food, for over 50 years, let me tell you, man, it's still the same taste.
All right.
Liberty really cooks some good food there, man, trust me.
Well, listen, I got to get another caller in here before I take the break. But thank you so much for the call, Robert.
Yeah, man.
Always nice to hear from you. We got another caller there. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Mr. Charles.
Yes. Poet Laureate. How are you?
Oh, not as good as you, sir.
What's up this afternoon?
Mr. Charles, Mr. Charlo, I want to say something, that thing with the proud of them young people, it's a very good thing. It's a very encouraging initiative. It's very good.
It is.
Inspires, yes, sir. It inspires, in my opinion, a lot of young people to strive toward something in life. And I've also realized that a lot of young people are far more intelligent than some people might suspect, and from a very young age too. Even though there are times when you have some, I've seen it where you have some young people that they don't even let you know that they're illiterate, You know,
Well, they play the fool.
Yeah, play the fool, and it has something to do with being macho sometimes too. You know, being a little, yeah, sir, and that's in my opinion, why sometimes some people get in trouble because they want to be a little more macho than to express their educational side.
Well, that's interesting what you say, though, because I've seen that myself. Sometimes young boys think that being smart, is the opposite of being macho. It's not. If you're smart, you're not tough, right? They make that mistake.
And not actually proud of being educated, but more like sometimes more proud to drink a beer, smoke a cigarette, and smoke whatever else it is. So I've seen, I've been observing some behaviors like that for quite some time, and then sometimes the people that catch themselves and say, something, I don't need to live this type of way.
Mm-hmm.
And they come right back to being what they should be. Some are fortunate to get back there, but I want to say some things about world politics, Mr. Charles. I admire world politics, and quite a few world leaders have been always admire. I like to learn about royalty. I like to learn about world leaders, and very interesting people. I think it's a good thing to follow. To follow what's happening and seeing what's happening around the world and
stay up to date on world events.
In comparison to what's happening in Cayman, and then you try to find solutions. But as I was saying, Mr. Charles, some of these young people are going to be future politicians, business leaders, and that sort of thing. So they have to be directed now from a very young age, and they're going to take a lot of different positions here in Cayman. So being proud of them from now it's a good thing, and giving them a chance, highlighting what's taking place with the young people, giving them,
Sure enough, and thank you so much for your thoughts.
Yes, sir.
You have a good afternoon.
Okay, you too, sir.
Yes, the young people, they will eventually be taking over, so we got to try and educate them. I got this little thing here from a friend of mine sent me. I'm a senior, so I can read this. So it says, on the 8th day, God created seniors. Most seniors never get enough exercise, though. In his wisdom, God decreed that seniors become forgetful, so they would have to search for their glasses, keys, and other things, thus doing more walking. And God looked down and saw that it was good. Then God saw there was another need. In his wisdom, he made seniors lose coordination, so they would drop things, requiring them to bend, reach, and stretch. And God looked down and saw that it was good. Then God considered the function of bladders and decided seniors would have additional calls of nature, requiring more trips to the bathroom, thus providing more exercise. God looked down and saw that that was good. So if you find as you age, you're getting up and down more, remember, it's God's will. It's all in your best interest, even though you mutter under your breath. Here's 9 important facts to remember as we grow older. Number 9, death is the number 1 killer in the world. Number 8, life is sexually transmitted. Number 7, good health is merely the slowest possible rate at which one can die. Number 6, men have 2 motivations, hunger and hanky-panky, and they can't tell them apart. If you see a gleam in his eyes, make him a sandwich. Number 5, give a person a fish and you feed them for a day. Teach a person to fish. Teach a person to fish. Teach a person to use the internet, and they won't bother you for weeks, months, maybe even years. Number 4, health nuts are going to feel stupid someday lying in the hospital, dying of nothing. Number 3, all of us could take a lesson from the weather. It pays no attention to criticism. And number 2, in the 60s, people took LSD to make the world weird. Now the world is weird, and people take Prozac to make it normal. And number 1, life is like a jar of jalapeno peppers. What you do today may be a burning issue tomorrow. Please share this wisdom with others. Oh, I need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
And explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Hey, new drivers, don't just drive, drive smart. Cynical and Inspire Cayman's Safe Driver program will show you how. Get real-life simulator training and classroom sessions to help you gain experience, stay alert, and avoid accidents. Learn to recognize risk, manage fatigue, and make smart choices behind the wheel. Certified participants may even pay less for Cynical motor insurance. Learn more and register at cynical.ky. Cynical, keeping Cayman covered.
Did you know that 1 in 4 persons in Cayman has been diagnosed with raised blood pressure, or that 14% of our population do not eat any fruits or vegetables, or that 70% of Cayman's adult population is overweight or obese? The STEPS 2023 National Health Survey gives us information on the prevalence of risk factors for non-communicable diseases, such as heart and lung disease in the Cayman Islands. Your health matters. Let's step into Wellness Cayman. Learn more by logging on to gov.ky/steps.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
That's what I want to know. What's on your mind? Pick up the phone, give me a call, and let's chat about whatever. Have you got your e-bike all licensed? Those of you out there who are e-bikers. Yes, the law, which was delayed because of all the confusion, is still scheduled now to come into effect March 1st. And what's that? That's Sunday? Yeah. So if you haven't got your bike license and all that, you better try and do it tomorrow. Because are they open on Saturday? Maybe West Bay or someplace like that. I don't know. But if you're planning on riding it to work on Monday, better get it all inspected and licensed and insured. So I guess that's an added expense for some people, but certainly makes bikes on the road, the e-bikes, makes them much safer, because just up until recently, I mean, I've seen e-bikes at night and no lights. I can hardly make them out there. So the law comes into effect, and I guess they're going to be enforcing it, and I'm sure as they'll be making examples of a few people there. But what do you think about these amendments to the immigration law? You think those are the right things to do to, go back to the original intent here of, as they would put it, grandfathering people in, the people who had already submitted their paperwork for permanent residence, had all their applications in, and all their paperwork in order, because that was the original plan from what I'm seeing, that they would consider to have met the deadline when the law changed. And even though the approval had not come, they had done what they needed to do, and everything was in place when the law did change, and that was supposed to come into effect again on Sunday. But that is all pushed back now, and they are making these changes, which will be happening next week when Parliament goes in to session. And what do you think about this? Has the government done the right thing? It would certainly appear so from my point of view anyway. To me, it was the fair thing would be just like, I guess you would say, natural justice, because the law changed. People had already done their application, so it's not their fault that the system is backlogged. And from what I read, it is quite a backlog of the applications for permanent residency, and people wait quite a long time, not knowing what is going to happen. And I guess if they've got everything, all the boxes checked, the outcome will be positive for them. But it's just the matter of having to wait for so long a period. And now the law has changed, and looks like it will change again. And like I said, the government has received from some criticism from some quarters about the way they handled that. The original draft being that they would be included, and then a change was made, and when the bill was actually passed, that was not the situation. And I'd like to hear what you think about this. And we do have a caller. Good afternoon, you're on the air. Hello.
Hey, good afternoon. Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. I've just been thinking about something as we all kind of see the development that's going on. specifically along the 7 Mile Beach corridor and into South Sound, and we see 10-story South Beach looking buildings being built. I believe that the 7 Mile Beach corridor is the only portion of the island that has sewer lines. I know most of us have septic tanks. And my impression is that the sewer lines were put in that area in the late 60s, early 70s maybe, and I can almost guarantee they were not designed to handle the volume of shoulder-to-shoulder 10-story buildings that are popping up and replacing some of the modest condos. Nobody seems to be talking about that, but eventually it's going to literally hit the fan, and it's going to be a major problem. What are your thoughts or your guests' thoughts? Not your guests, but your callers' thoughts.
Yeah, actually, it was some time ago I saw someone write something about that, and they also questioned about the quality of the pipes after all these years. Whether anything had been done to upgrade the pipes that handle the sewage from, and when it was put in, like you're saying, it was nothing like what it is now. So I don't know. You're right. Probably some problems are brewing underground there along West Bay Road.
That is going to be a major project when they've got to tear up that corridor and replace those lines. I wonder why it's not on anyone's mind as we're granting permission and planning permission for these developers to buy up some of the older condos and tear them down, kind of like what's happening over at Lacovia. Okay, have a good day.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks for bringing that subject up. And speaking of Lacovia, I was online reading an article and an ad for the condos at Lacovia popped up. And I said, my God, I'd never really seen a picture of it. And it was a picture from the seaside. And I said, what have they done? I mean, the Lacovia that I remember had some character about it. The architecture had some character, was some warmth. And this picture of the new Lacovia was just, a box going up in the air and glass, and that was no character at all. Callers are on the line, but callers, just hang in there for me. You got to take a break. We'll be right back and we'll talk.
Did you know that 1 in 4 persons in Cayman has been diagnosed with raised blood pressure, or that 14% of our population do not eat any fruits or vegetables, or that 70% of Cayman's adult population is overweight or obese? The STEPS 2023 National Health Survey gives us information on the prevalence of risk factors for non-communicable diseases, such as heart and lung disease in the Cayman Islands. Your health matters. Let's step into Wellness Cayman. Learn more by logging on to gov.ky/steps.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments from March 9 to 13 at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.porterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That is 946-9020.
Celebrating 50 years of broadcasting in the Cayman Islands, this is Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
The results are in. 11% of Cayman's population have been previously diagnosed with raised blood sugar or diabetes, and as many as 50% of all persons living with diabetes in Cayman have never had a foot exam. The STEPS 2023 National Health Survey gives us information on the prevalence of risk factors for non-communicable diseases such as diabetes. Your health matters. Let's step into wellness, Cayman. Learn more by logging on to gov.ky/steps.
Ready to launch your career in hospitality?
If you're an ambitious young Caymanian, the DART Hospitality Training Program is your opportunity to shine.
This paid 4-month program gives you hands-on experience at world-class properties like Kimpton Seafire, the Ritz-Carlton, Hotel Indigo, Hampton by Hilton, and Bonnie Moon Beach Club.
Plus, DART has partnered with Lynn University to deliver an intensive 2-week hospitality curriculum from an accredited institution.
Gain real-world experience, learn from the industry leaders, and open doors to full-time careers in hospitality.
Applications close April 6, 2026, with programs starting May 2026.
Apply now at dart.ky/hospitality.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and we have some callers on the line, so let's go straight to the phone lines. Good afternoon, you're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon.
Hi.
Hi. Question. If we get into the news break, can I hold on, or do I need to call back? Just hang up and call back.
Well. Actually, we have two other people hanging on, so let's see if we can get everybody in before the news. But go, shoot away.
I'll call you after the news because I want to talk. I got something to want to talk.
You got a dissertation.
Yeah.
All right, call back after the news.
Bye.
Bye. And let's see our two other callers here. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Mr. Charles.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, hanging in there.
I hear you.
Yeah. Talking about development, these things with the coastal area in 7 Mile Beach with the pipes and all those stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been talking about the rapid development of these 10-story buildings for a long time, especially the one out by the wharf called the New Grand Hyatt. Now, nobody is talking about that place at all as if they were promised a job. But
I know we've had some people call about it on here, though. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could hear a little bit more from people a little bit more often because it's a real disaster what is going on up there.
What do you mean?
I don't understand how some people look at it as if it was good, but then they're the same people that don't even walk on the beach. But you know, I gonna say something other than the development, gentrification, right? With that beach, I gotta talk about gentrification in our neighborhoods because gentrification is something good in some senses, but then it can also be really bad because you got big time developers that they don't really consult with their neighbors. They more than likely think that what they're doing is good, and they're doing a favor more that we owe them thanks for doing something. But when they claim that everything that they do is sustainable, but then yet they cut down trees and put up plastic all over the place and expect the neighbors to be happy about it and then put up cameras so that they can protect their goods. You know, I don't like to be in a society where I'm monitored 100% and you block my view from the people that are in the neighborhood, because in my area in Sonnepower Drive in West Bay, there's a developer there. I might not call any names today, but it might be another day. But there's a developer down there that seems to be doing things that he feels like is in a good favor for us as the community and in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing in particular it's two things in particular that I do not sit down good with on this is putting artificial vines on a fence in a public park where children are always at play, not every day, but during their free time. And we got boys and girls that like to ride bicycles on the street inside of the neighborhood. And I think that they should have all rights to do that without the fear of being knocked down by a car coming around the corner at 30 miles an hour. Let's just say they're blocking the view of our children and the parents and adults likewise that are coming through the area. It's more of a danger for them than it is protecting their privacy, because they also do use the people in this new area, in this new development, are also using the park as a dog pooping station. And I don't think it's nice at all. We don't encourage our dogs to be carried into the public park where children play to take a crap. We don't encourage those type of things.
Or if you do, you got your pooper scooper with you or something.
But that's some of them don't even do that because they feel like if nobody sees them, nobody cares. So it's easy to identify them because they're the ones with the leashes. So anyways, they also cut down trees that they claim are destroying the property, but then they come and interfere with the trees and think that because the tree limb fell and broke the fence, that it's a right thing to cut down the entire tree, a tree that's been there for decades.
Yeah.
No, I don't like stuff like that. Then when you have a big company that comes and claims that they are for the environment, they're making air cleaner because trees breathe air, and then yet you got some people that cut them right down entirely. It's all propaganda, sir. That's all I see going on here in the community of West Bay.
Are those same developers trying to buy up the land around them?
Yes. And you know, the way how I look at it is discouraging for people to want to live in the area that are actually truly generational Caymanians that want to live there. It is truly discouraging when they destroy our place in the name of sustainability. And they put all green all around the place, and it's nothing real. Nothing real. I mean, you're looking at a big park and a whole length of fence with plastic.
Plastic plants, plastic trees.
You can't make this stuff up, sir. They don't even want to go to the nearest neighborhood, the nearest landscaper to say, do you have plants that we can grow on this fence?
Yeah, they don't want to have to bring in the landscaper and, keep the hedge cut and all that, I guess. They see it as cost effective, right? Well, listen, I have another caller on the line. I want to try and get them in before the news. So,
yes, sir. Okay. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks for the call. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yeah, hello, Mr. Glidden.
Yes, you're on the air. How you doing, man?
How are you today?
I'm doing good.
Okay, well, Cayman got a lot of issues and going to continue to have them because the place that we live in now that me and you grew up in, this ain't Cayman no more. I'm trying to get a nice modernized name for it, but I'm going to leave that aside right now. But talking about the gentleman that talked about the 7 Mile beach sewerage. I've been talking about that to people for so long from time I see them started building, but like when I go and people say me, they say, continue talking. But I say, Donald, good. You're only getting enemies and nothing is being done. Those days, that was in the 60s and early 60s too, when a lot of them places like the West Indian Club and all them were built, because I worked on all of those buildings down there.
Those pipes were put in from
those days. It was galvanized pipe.
It was that early that the sewage was put in, the sewage pipes.
Yeah, what I'm saying, and those days the galvanized pipe.
Yeah.
It wasn't no PVC pipe. Them days you had to trade those galvanized pipe, trade them to connect up on, screw on to the couplings and thing on top of them. So like what that gentleman said, it's gonna be a mess. I don't know if planning doing anything about it when they are giving permits to build these buildings. But I know it's a mess. And something gonna happen exactly like what a gentleman gonna say. I've been talking about that for years from time I see all this development down on the 7 Mile Beach. And I used to run up and down that 7 Mile before all that development was what was happening. Long time I used to go there. For Easter, I had to carry a rake and a blanket and a sheet to underneath those weeping willow trees. That's what we used to call them days. And get ready for our parents to come with the food and stuff for Easter after that. But we used to go all those prickles, you know what they had down there?
What?
Cocoa plums.
Oh, yeah.
You remember all them cocoa plums? And grapes. Yeah. What they had. And talking about Lacovia, I worked on Lacovia. I was one of the foremen with Lacovia for Arch and Godfrey with Mr. Esmer Range, who was the subcontractor. We built the original Lacovia. We built that. A lot of work. I did a lot of plastering.
Yeah, that was a nice looking condo complex.
It was nice. It was very nice.
Yeah, when I saw the picture of the new one, I said, "Oh my, it's just like, Miami Beach or something, South Beach or."
Cayman is gone, and it ain't no coming back. And when I say gone, I can talk to you and the Caymanians that born and raised here, because it's really, really true. What I'm hearing, people are saying, a lot of people are not interested in the Cayman Islands at all. They're here to enjoy it while it lasts. I hope we don't end up like the Bahamas. But the planning department, I don't know nobody in it, but they need to look at these things. And another one right there, Gorin Avenue, that big one there.
Yeah.
Close there was a big hole, blowhole, close in that area with a big blowhole. And I come in from far. So I know about it. I know Northwesters, Mr. Glidden, used to break in the month of December. And do you remember the Cayman Arms with that? What's right in the front there?
Yeah, sure.
The Laxa used to be before.
Mm-hmm.
I see these just normal Northwestern breaking over the roof and go up to the Georgetown post office, when that break. So I have no more to say because nobody can tell me about the 7 Mile Beach and up south. I'm born in Georgetown between Mary Street and Shaden Road.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it all.
I saw
it all. And I just can't remember it all. So you have a good day, Mr. Glidden.
All right, bro. Thank you for the call. You have a good afternoon. Well, it's coming up on 2 o'clock, and that means it's news time, so let's check in with the newsroom.
Covering Little Cayman, Kim and Bride.
Cover me. Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market.
Aircraft operators are set to face a new set of fees as the National Coalition for Caymanians Administration publishes the Airports Authority Amendment and Validation Bill. This bill, if passed in Parliament by MPs, will amend the Airports Authority Act to allow the authority to collect fees from aircraft operators for the use of air navigation services. In international headlines, a 27-year-old man was arrested today after New York City police said officers were hurt when they were pelted with snow and ice during a massive snowball fight in Washington Square Park this week. The New York Police Department said in a brief social media post the man was arrested for assaulting our officers. A spokesperson for the department said it did not immediately have additional information, including what the man was charged with. Former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton told U.S. House lawmakers in New York today that she had no knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's or Ghislaine Maxwell's crimes, starting off 2 days of depositions that will also include former President Bill Clinton. The closed-door depositions in the Clintons' hometown in New York came after months of tense back and forth between the former high-powered Democratic couple and the Republican-controlled House Oversight Committee. It will be the first time a former president has been forced to testify before Congress. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. A quick look at the weather. It's 83 degrees here in Georgetown. Feels like 91. Wind out of the southeast at about 9.5 knots, and the forecast is calling for partly cloudy skies straight through tonight. And wind is expected to be out of the east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots. And seas are moderate to rough, running at 3 to 5 feet. And looking on the radar, looks like a nice sight. Just some little blips out there of rain, but all out at sea. We have a caller on the line, so let's get to the phone lines. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Yes, you're back. Now you say you got quite an agenda.
What am I got you on? I can't hear you. My
Can you hear me? You can hear me? I can hear you.
Got you now. Got you.
Okay.
Good. Yes. I just want to say congratulations to 50 years, Radio Cayman.
Well, thank you.
I can remember listening to Radio Cayman when Junior and a bunch of those guys was on there up until now. But having our 50 years anniversary and just from what I understand inside is nice and all that kind of stuff. But when you sit down and think that it's a government radio station, I don't see, and people are saying it, that little guy from Westgate called a couple of days ago, I was listening to him.
You're breaking up on us a little bit there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it breaks up ever so often.
Yes, because while I was waiting for you guys too, the phone was dinging in my ear too, so I don't know if you were sad or mine. But anyhow, if you can't hear me, just tell me and I'll hang up.
No.
Okay?
No, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Yeah, like we all say, this a government radio station, and it should still really be more a radio station for the people of the island, and with all these commercials. Because if you sit down and look at the amount of commercials that is being done on the time that you guys are on and the morning shows are on, you just might. That's about almost over 50. I was 45% of it just pure commercials, and so many people have so many questions and they get frustrated and doesn't say I can't fool with them and blah blah blah, and that kind of way. But anyhow, happy anniversary, you guys.
Well, thank you.
A couple of days ago, they were talking about the garbage.
Yeah.
And I just want to reach out to the parents today who has children in school or a child school to please tell your children to help keep the town clean with your garbage, your snack bags, water bottles, lunchtime, your food containers. Children to keep the grounds clean at any school, public, private, wherever the schools are. These children is urgent. And if they're doing what they're doing, now you imagine when they come out, what they will do if they don't get discipline from home. The teachers, the security people can only do so much on the school compound. The parents need the children to pick up behind themselves, put the garbage in the proper containers. If they can't find a container, that's where the closest one. It is so much more I could say about that garbage, but I probably lose my job this afternoon. So I will leave that at that. I'm just begging the parents, talk to your children in the garbage at any private school, government school, or whatever schools. Tell them cleanliness is next to godliness, please. But Mr. Charles.
Yes.
The you know, do we have a police station?
As far as I know.
Pardon?
I said, as far as I know.
As far as you know, we have a police station.
Yeah, it's just down the street from where the old one was, right? Is that what you're getting at?
Charles, yes, Mr. Charles. Let's be real now. We do not have a police station, okay? From Daily West across from Godfrey, they are costing government more money to rent these spots to run the police department on this island. Before they move over that old building, they should know where they're putting the new building. They are scattered about on this island, and it's not fair to nobody. You can't even say, oh, there is the police station. You ain't seen no sign in Royal Bank stating the police department is here. And you ain't seen no sign up on Eastern Avenue.
Well, I think that's just the police commissioner's office, right? In Royal Bank building?
I don't know what's in there, but I see officers coming and going.
Yeah, I think the commissioner's office is up there.
But the fact is, Mr. Charles, when they know that they was going to move, they should have make us know where they are new stationed. I haven't heard any grounds have been broken for a new station. And that building right across from Cayman National Bank belongs to the Flowers. Government must have got 95% of that building lease. Government must have just go and buy that from the Flowers. Mr. Glidden, I understand where all of the money is coming from to do things that they do. Look out here by Houston gas station. They had a sidewalk. They took it and they ripped it up. Just ripped it like they were just put there. It didn't cost anything. Now they're going to put a new one down. All we are doing is wasting money, and there's so many people here that need help. We got our young generation, got children, and got a job, and can't even buy a piece of property, can't even rent a decent apartment. The apartment is restricted. If you want to put the AC on at a certain time, you got a heater. I mean, come on, what are becoming for our young generation in this island? And it's not just this government. What his government plans are, I don't even know. But if they're going to do anything, boy, they got to work the 4-7 for the next to get Cayman back on the map. Because Cayman is off the map. What are they going to do for our young generation? We are not a garbage island. The parents need to tell the kids, pick up the garbage. Hey, Mr. Glidden, look at our fire station. When last you ever heard a rumor that they will be building a new fire station or upgrading the one that they have to sustain the population and all of these hotels and condos that is up 8 and 9 floors in the air. And what that gentleman here? Boy, it's going to be a mess on this island in time to come. You hear me? It's going to be a lot of stuff flying all over the place. A mask not even going to help us. You hear me? Not even wearing a mask going to help us, Mr. Glidden. So I'm just saying today, planning needs to do better. How is CUC going to supply this whole island? And nobody can tell us how it's going to work. This is going to be a burning inferno. God forbid me for saying that. I hope that what CUC plans are, what the water companies' plans are for water in these places, I would love to know. You know America, right? Right, Mr. Glidden?
Well, tell me something. Like you just mentioned water. Are you saying that they're not preparing for the growth in population, that they're not going to be able to supply these things, to supply enough power, supply enough water? Is that what you think is going to happen?
I am talking in general, and I'm seeing those. Some people are not seeing above their nose. When you fly this island for 3 to 4 hours a day, island and see what is going on, and you can't hear what the next step is to CUC, the water companies, trying to do a better work than what they're doing with people building these buildings. When are the construction going to come under control? You're building places with no back door. I don't know where you live in, no disrespect to you, but I don't tell you that I am more than glad to take a whole day and pour you on this island and make you see reality. Because then some of the people sit in offices, we do not see reality. We just come out, jump in our car, but there's a lot of realities out here on this island that needs to be looking. All because we got lights today and water today. We're not even concerned about tomorrow because we think and believe that we're going to have those same things tomorrow. But if the pop continue to grow, Mr. Glidden, we got to be in a hell of a trouble on this little island. And I'm going to let you go, Mr. Glidden. I just want to say, the gentleman I called a couple of days ago in regards about the peace, this one,
called about the what?
He can do. The young man that was talking to you a couple of days ago, he's a painter, I believe.
Yeah.
And he was trying to get some things across to you, and he was telling you, I didn't hear the full story, but it's like, it sounded like a lot of stuff is not really working in his favor, and like in other words, where do he stand here in this island, fucking wise and all that? But we all had a very heated argument. Nobody couldn't really come across with each other. And I just want to say, no disrespect to anyone, to say that sometimes when we call the station and we are trying to bleed ourselves out here to make some people hear some things to see if it will pick up some things in the island, the radio hosts need to be a little bit more careful in answering back some of the things, because they just trigger off the individual out here who is trying to survive and can't survive, and then they're not pleased with what they. So sometimes it's just to listen and tell the host, tell the guest, I wish you all the best, and just keep pushing. Things will work out for you. Sometimes when we go into detail with certain things, it really kicks off the caller, and it makes them get very eligible to know that, hey, if I can't call and express myself on the radio, we so got here myself, because then when I go to apply for a job, they don't want to hear what I have to say. So people take the airways to express themselves and hoping that someone will learn from it or gain from it or understand from it, and those different things. Got me?
I heard you. And yeah,
right.
well, in that conversation, I would say that sometimes there was, I guess, a lack of clarity maybe on both sides. But I think I understand him better now.
I think it was looking more positive from you. But I'll leave that alone. That's already gone on the bridge. I'll leave it alone.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the call.
Yeah.
You take care.
Bye.
We have to take a break. Be right back.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
It's back. It's crispy. It's delicious. St. Ignatius Youth Ministry presents Friday Fish Fry Nights. 5 weeks of flavor. February 27, March 6, 13th, 20th, and the 27th. Serving from 5 until 7:30 p.m. at the St. Ignatius School Canteen. Dine in or take out. Menu includes fried or baked snapper $17 or mai $15. Served with fries or rice, coleslaw, escovitch, fritters, and more. Drinks just $1. Free desserts while they last. Eat good, do good. Every bite supports our youth ministry trip to the Steubenville High School Youth Conference in Orlando, Florida this summer. Come hungry, leave happy. See you there.
The results are in. 11% of Cayman's population have been previously diagnosed with raised blood sugar or diabetes, and as many as 50% of all persons living with diabetes in Cayman have never had a foot exam. The STEPS 2023 National Health Survey gives us information on the prevalence of risk factors for non-communicable diseases such as diabetes. Your health matters. Let's step into wellness, Cayman. Learn more by logging on to gov.ky/steps.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Hey, this is Lord Graham, as I'm known on Radio Cayman. My first early members of Radio Cayman was when they first started. We had a cousin of mine, Lomax Rankin, who was one of the first people to work for Radio Cayman. And whenever we were having a get-together or some sort of little party, especially on weekends, and then he would play Music Express, the music that we love or the music that we could dance to. So I want to say happy 50th anniversary to Radio Cayman, the best in the land.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. Yes, we had some commercials. And we've had people express that before, that we shouldn't be playing commercial because it eats into the time that callers have to talk about what they want to bring to the forefront. I don't know. Maybe you would prefer that we have the BBC model, where we don't have commercials, but the funding comes from you, right? That you pay to have the privilege of listening to Radio Cayman. So BBC is still funded by a license fee, often referred to as a TV tax, or a radio license, and that costs £174.50 annually for a color license, and funds TV, radio, and online services. And the fee is still guaranteed until December 2027, although they're looking at changing that model. And that's how they do it in the UK, so that BBC is not taking commercials. And I'm not sure if do some of the services actually take commercials? You know, the BBC America, and they have some commercials, right? But yeah, hey, the commercials bring in funding, and it goes into the government coffers. It provides, money to the government. And I don't know what the situation is now, but I know that years ago, Radio Cayman paid its own way. We actually, in a sense, operated at a profit at one time. I don't know what the situation is now, but I remember we were bringing in more money than it cost to run the station. So we paid our way, and it might still be that way. And actually right now, the number of commercials being played is less than what it is, or what it will be probably later in the year as contracts are renewed and businesses start spending money into the year. So right now, for anyone who don't think we should have commercials, we're having less of them right now than, say, what we had in December. Because every Christmas time, everybody's advertising this and that. Got to get the word out. So, they're buying airtime to advertise their service or their product, their store. But, hey, we're going to have commercials. And, it really does help financially when we do. At least we're not a burden on the government. So we play our part in bringing the government some money. And really, I mean, people do get time to talk. People do get their chance to talk, and sometimes at length. Do we have a caller on the line? Yeah. Do we have a caller there? Okay, let's go back on the air. And you have 7 minutes. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon to you, Charlie. Yes, on the air again.
Yes.
Yes, I just like to say it was remiss of me all this time not to be congratulating Radio Cayman. I thought I did it just come so automatically. 50 years. Wonderful. All the little books and different things that have happened to prevent total transmission sometime, whatever, but that's understandable. It's been great. You folks do a great job. Really great crew. It's difficult. So, yes, people have to realize that it takes money, a lot of money, to power up these amps that broadcast these things and to pay the salaries for the people there. And
transmitter burns a lot of electricity.
Yes, it burns a lot of electricity with powerful transmitters. And build the towers and everything and so forth. Yes, it's hard for people to understand sometimes the amount of money it takes to see the television companies hear how many ads they have. You can turn the channels and get nothing but ads, and many most channels are showing ads and so forth. And you're paying for that, a lot of money. But anyway, the thing with many of us over years, and George, my friend here, and John, I know they're younger than I am, a couple of years, but the folks a good bit younger who call in many times, some older. That it's a very, very different Cayman. And we should be, I just want to say this quickly, applauding our young people when they get involved in things that showcases them and their talent. And it's amazing the talent with so many young people here. And I'm not just talking about artistic talent, just the talent in speech and so things, and education-wise, academic, but it's a very, very different Cayman. It's hard for us to grasp it. Those of us who can remember Cayman 55 years ago, 50 years ago, it's a completely different, like a different planet. So when we think about things, you know, we have to really sort of look at things in perspective of know what it's like. And young people and people under the age of 60, really, or just say under the age of 55, don't really know what Cayman was like when we talk about that Cayman. So it's difficult to convey or to put across to them what we're talking about when we say these things, you know, the cocoa plums and all that. We remember all that very well. And, you know, it's just, it's very, very difficult to portray that Cayman to them, and that's what we talk about. We have lost that completely. Yes, it won't be back. We can try and showcase it in many events and cultural things and try to do things. And I know my little job is history and so forth, and I try to show the people, but they're foreigners mostly who are teaching that to, and then many times school children. But it is not a simple thing, because sometimes our own feelings interfere, and we're talking as if they were there and they would know what we're saying. Then we have to backtrack and go over it all and say, well, this was there, where you see that now, and so forth, so on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a different world. They're focused now on a cell phone. And if you notice, most conversations are taking place between a person and a cell phone, even when people are sitting together having lunch or whatever. It's amazing. It really is. And it's a letdown that they're all on their cell phones individually. I guess it's nothing to do with what they're talking about, or it might be, or it's sometimes. It's a different...
If they're talking to each other.
World. Speaking person, the person around the table, it might be very little, a few words, that's it, you know, in the course of maybe 2 or 3 hours. So that's a very different Cayman, and it's hard to convey. I know that CUC will have all those researchers, but when their buildings are in plans are in progress for all those huge buildings, they know it requires a lot of power, and they know what the current raw would be. They can get down to a fine point and know they're going to need another generator to supply these 2-3 buildings. They require a lot of power.
Yeah.
And people can't live in this dream world that this is not going to happen. These people pay a lot of money for that land. They didn't steal it. And it's sad what they're doing with it, but that's what it was. And we were warned, you know. We were warned. When Mr. McKeever Bush spoke about 10, he was derided. Oh, that can't happen. I remember when they said no more than 3, and then 5 was, and then 10. So we'll be seeing much more than that in the future, those of us who will be able to live to see in the not too distant future. So this is it. This is what we've got to expect. Greed is a hell of a thing, Charlo. It's a hell of a thing, Charlo. Greed. And money has taken root and taken command, and this is it.
Well, Mickey,
I remember a young man saying
Mickey, you had the last word.
People. Thank you so much for listening to my rambling.
Thanks. Always good to hear from you.
Take care. Yeah. God bless you. Bye. Have a good...
It is 2:30, and that means that Talk Today has come to an end. That's it for me. Thank you to all who listened, to all of you who picked up the phone and gave me a call. Have a good afternoon. I'm Charles Glidden. One love.
Talk Today is brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.